Buyer purchasing demand increases in the fall for one of the first times in recorded history. This is according to economist Stephen Thomas last week here in St. George.
And I mean, like, real in recorded history.
Well, and so here's what he's talking about.
Wow.
Stephen Thomas was in town. We talked about this on last week's show. Welcome. This is the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive. It's really the Southern Utah Real Estate Morning Drive. It could be the Utah or the international real estate. Certainly the National Real Estate Morning Drive. Stephen Thomas was in town. I attended this conference called the Rise Summit. And he said, we do not see, like, you see seasonal changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's talking about, like, nationwide, a net major increase in buyer demand coming into the fall.
Okay. So
he doesn't mean seasonal differences.
That makes sense.
And what we're going to talk about, guys, is we're actually going to walk through 10 clients who bought or sold. I mean, less their story, but more what they bought or sold in the month of September. The question that will be answered today is, not only are people buying real estate, because he's saying demand increased nationwide coming into the fall. It did. What are people actually buying? Because I think a lot of sellers are asking themselves two things. Sellers are asking, is there a buyer for my home?
Right.
Sellers always want to know, is there a buyer for their home? And buyers are always worried that it might be the wrong time to buy.
Yeah, especially depending on the market, right? If the market's a little bit slower or there's any indication that it's shifting downward, buyers really pull back and go, ooh, am I making a mistake?
And we're seeing that in negotiations right now. So let's walk through this, guys. We're going to talk about it. This is Jeremy Larkin, Jesse Paul, the Larkin Group, KW Realty, downtown St. George.
Good morning, everybody.
From our headquarters, the Tabernacle on University Boulevard, with the cool mural on the side of the building. So much fun. So much fun. What I like is to look out my window and see people out there taking photos. And when I drive by at nighttime and the neons, which are having a problem, I noticed this week.
Oh, the neons are?
Yeah, one side of them is out.
You know, I haven't talked about this for a while, but the neons make me think of my dad when he was a little kid, because he used to sell neon signs to like Smiths and.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this is back in the 70s. So
wow, back
when they were really big, and they were so cool because they were like they made good sleds.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like
cool.
we make these days, you know.
Yeah.
But so our neon signs always make me think of my dad.
Yeah, that's pretty darn cool. You know, when you drive by our building at night, if you see through the windows, we have some fake neon inside, and fake neon is just LED, right? It's like it's the same tubing. It's not glass tubing. It's actually like plastic tubing. You know, what do you want to call it? PVC.
Yeah.
That they put LED inside, but our neons on the outside of the building were produced by Rainbow Sign. They are real,
so cool,
real neon. Okay. So, gang, we want to address this. What are people buying? What are they selling? You know, we've had the St. George Marathon come and go, and Senior Games is now in full swing, and the PGA Tour, it's now time for the PGA Tour. Guys, this is what's crazy. This Black Desert Championship, I was there last year, and I mean, it's a pretty phenomenal experience. And I think what's hard is for people to go, oh, wait, this is the actual PGA Tour that I've watched on TV for my whole life. Like, people don't realize that. They'll be in town from the 23rd to the 25th. 26th, I mean, right? Thursday, Friday,
That's
Saturday,
cool.
Sunday.
Second year.
Yeah, second year.
We're in
And
the big leagues now.
yeah, this year it's the Bank of Utah Championship. You wonder what the Bank of Utah paid
To be there.
Oh, can you even imagine?
No, because it's not quite the Super Bowl, but
guys, it would be in the millions
yeah.
of dollars to be there. So check that out, the 23rd through the 26th at Black Desert. I strongly encourage you, here's my encouragement this coming up this week. Here, not this week, 2 weeks. Unless you have some sort of averse reaction to golf, I would go out there and I would buy a grounds ticket and just go walk the course and partake in the cool excitement. It's just kind of fun.
I
it's
need
beautiful.
I need to do that this year. You said it's the 23rd?
23rd through 26th. Yep, Thursday through Sunday.
Okay. I should do that this year because, I've never, not only have I never golfed, I've never been to a tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, well, very few have been to a tournament. So this is great. So, guys, let's dig into what we call the nitty-gritty, right? The nitty-gritty. And we're going to talk about our personal clients. Yep. What did some of the people, we're going to talk about 10 people, 10 transactions in the month of September. What are people buying and selling? If you're a seller, is there a buyer for your home? If you're a buyer, does it make sense to buy a home? I'm going to talk through it. The first one, Jesse, and this is in reverse chronology, 1640 West Approach Lane. Mm-hmm. This home is in Tonaquint Cove. Tonaquint Cove, let's talk about it. What was the sales price?
$1.375.
$1.375 million. Let's talk about this for just a minute, guys. This is a 6-bedroom, 6-bathroom home. It's built in 2024. It's 5,108 square feet.
It's a good size home.
One of the things that's changed that Stephen Thomas, when I was at this conference last week, that he said he looks at luxury differently. So what he does in a market, Jesse, is he takes the top 10% of sales. Uh-huh. That's luxury. So literally, say there were
top 10%. Okay.
Yeah. So say there were 10,000 sales.
Yep.
The top one, the 100, the top 1,000. Well, if they're 10,000.
Well, yeah, that's 1,000. Yeah.
He'd take the 1,000 on the top.
And
that's what he would call luxury.
Interesting.
Now, listen, there could be a big range. That could be 1.2 million to 8 million.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't done that analysis. But what I want to point out is this. 10 years ago, 1.375 million. Well, to be fair, this is a stunning home. Mm-hmm. Look at this thing. Brand new. Absolutely just beautiful. And of course, if you're not watching on live, you can see this on YouTube, guys. All of our shows are broadcast. Literally within 3 days of us talking about it with you here, you can go to YouTube, look up the Larkin Group, or go St. George TV, and you can see all of our shows. But here's a 5,100 square foot home, 6 beds, 6 baths, built in 2024. It's a brand new build. It's on 1/3 of an acre. Well, close to it. 0.31 acres.
Very cool house.
Sold for $1.375 million. You know what we're seeing a lot of? We're seeing a lot of families move from out of state who, and I tend to get this, they're not all predominant faith, because I mean, I think there's obviously this misconception that everybody that moves to St. George is LDS.
They're not. There's quite a few that aren't.
But what I get a lot of is out-of-state families moving in who may not be of the predominant faith, who are looking just for a more conservative, safer place to raise a family.
Yeah.
This is a conversation I've had over and over on repeat.
And that has nothing to do with religion. Yeah. It just has to do with where you live.
Yeah, they're looking for the values.
Yeah.
385 Bullock Place.
Out of Cedar City.
Jesse sells some real estate in Cedar City, don't you, Jesse?
Mm-hmm. We do.
We're going to talk about this home. This home was 1,394 square feet on 0.21 acres, just about a quarter, 3 beds, 2 baths. What was the sales price, Jesse?
$385,000.
Could you get a home in St. George for $385,000?
$385,000.
Would it be tougher to get one in St. George?
Oh, yeah,
for $385,000?
definitely. Especially that new. That was only a couple years old, 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, cute little place. Laminate flooring. Pretty light and bright. I mean, it's nice. I mean, I like the light fixtures.
Yeah.
Stainless steel appliances. All the jazz. Somebody comes in, they buy this home for $385,000 in Cedar City. Who's moving to Cedar City? Who's coming and going up there?
It's a lot of families, but who also comes to Cedar City is people from like Las Vegas, or it's different than St. George. It's people that are just trying to get out of the city, but they don't necessarily want to be in St. George because it's still hot. Mm-hmm. They want in the cooler weather.
Yeah. Yeah. They want to be close by. To be frank, guys, from St. George to Cedar City, it's about 45 minutes. I mean, if you want to drive to a house. Because we say it's 40, but it's 40 on to the exit to exit.
Yeah.
But, you're talking about 45 minutes to drive to most addresses in Cedar City from St. George. This home is near some ball fields, et cetera. Basically, I'd call it downtown. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty close to downtown.
For all purposes.
For sure.
$385,000. Are people spending $1.87 million in around Washington County, Jesse?
They are, right there in Hurricane.
Melissa, one of our great agents, Melissa Saldibar, she is an outstanding professional. She represented a great family who purchased a $1.875 million home in Hurricane. I'm going to tell you, in the last 12 months, this is in my top 5 favorite homes.
Yeah, this is not just a home. It was an estate. It was a cool property.
Top 5 favorite homes that I personally have seen hit the market. 5,100 feet on 1 acre in the Hurricane Fields. 4 beds, 4.5 baths. Not an enormous amount of beds and bathrooms, but let me blow it up for anybody who sees this on video. This is a kind of modern farmhouse style home. Jesse, it has its own pond.
That I love.
On the property. How cool is this?
Its own pool. Look at that.
Yep.
Beautiful
Pool,
home.
modern farmhouse, soaring ceilings, wood beams in the kitchen, gigantic 20-foot, probably 18-foot tall brick fireplace. It's light. It's bright. It's contemporary enough, but it feels kind of farmy. It's definitely a country home.
Yeah.
I saw this and I thought, oh man, I want to move out there.
Coffered ceilings.
Yeah, coffered ceilings. Look, this is a beautiful home. The home sold for $1.87 million. One thing I want to point out for just a minute. On our show last week, Jesse, we talked about one of the great misnomers.
Yeah, the price per square foot.
The first one we talked about on Approach Lane in Tonaquint Cove. What was the price per square foot? $270.
Yep.
The second one on... Now, this is so fun. Now watch this. Before you say it. A $1.375 million home sold for $270.69 a square foot.
Yep.
Now, this is what, guys, we want you to hear this. $1.3 million. A $385,000 starter home in Cedar sold
for $276 a square foot.
For $7 more per square foot. We can get into the why.
Yeah.
We're not going to go really deep on this show because of time. But I want you to understand something. You cannot use price per square foot as a benchmark.
Mm-mm.
Here's the short version. When you take a 1,375 square foot home, 1,394 square foot home, and you compare it to a 5,100 square foot home, what happens is in the bigger home, the square footage gets spread out. It's like going to Costco and they sell you 2 loaves of Grandma Sycamore's bread instead of 1, and you pay a little less per loaf. Yes?
Yep. Well, and not only that the home in St. George there was a lot of luxury items in that, but you got 5,000 square feet, so it doesn't make sense.
Then a $1.8 million home sold for what?
$365.
$360, an extra $100 per foot. Well, why? It was on an acre. It had its own pond. It had a pool.
Yep.
What did the acreage of landscape, the pond, and the pool cost? $250,000. At least.
Yes.
Guys, think about this. 2 homes side by side. Hey, listen. One of them's 5,100 feet and one of them's 5,100 feet. Jesse, literally.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
One's 5,108 and one's 5,120. One sells for $270 a square foot. One sells for $365. Well, here's why. 2 5,100 square foot homes sitting side by side. We have a dog in the studio. We always do. Come on, miss. Come up on the couch with us. She says no.
There's not enough room for her to jump.
One home has an acre of ground, a pond and all of the finishes, and a pool.
Yeah.
That alone just changed the cost by at least $250,000.
That's true.
Well, here's the interesting part. It sold for $500,000 more dollars.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot use price per square foot. The next one, Jesse, Boulder Spring Villa is $575,000.
Yep, sold for $204 a square foot.
$204 a square foot. Boulder Springs Villas is down by Summit Athletic Club. It's down by the new Sprouts Market. Kiln, which is where KILN, which is where they have this is cool kind of shared office space where I was at a conference this last week. Jesse, you represented a buyer.
Yep.
What was the deal with this buyer? What was their story?
They're actually coming from New Mexico.
Okay.
They're retired and wanted to come to St. George.
Okay. And they came to town and they purchased a $575,000. I need to plug in my home laptop.
You know, and you're like, what? Why is that one so low? Well, first of all, it's only got barely 1/10 of an acre, so it's got a lot less land than all of those other ones.
Okay.
And it's older, so it was built in the early 2000s, not in the last couple of years.
Okay. So listen, sold for $60 per square foot. Whoops. Less.
Yep.
Less than some of the other homes we've talked about.
Yeah. Is
this incredible? I can plug this laptop in. So they moved in from New Mexico. Why?
Just to retire.
Yep.
They just wanted to come here.
Okay.
They when they sold out on their business and they decided to retire, they wanted, number one, a smaller community. They wanted to get out of New Mexico. They wanted a safe community. They wanted to get out and hike and bike, and this is the place to do that.
And, as I fix this cord and plug in, people buy and sell for a variety of reasons. I want to talk about this next one, Jesse. $748,000 in Dixie in Sand Hollow Resort. Mm-hmm. One of the coolest features of this home is what? We're looking at it right now.
Pool.
It's in
the middle of the house.
In the middle of the house.
In the middle of the courtyard.
There's a courtyard in the middle of the home. Okay, completely surrounded by the house, so you could see light and glass 360 degrees around it.
Yep.
These folks live in Linden, Utah. Bought this thing a few years ago for a lot more than they sold it for. There was a big change out there in the Sand Hollow area with the HOA and how they handle the nightly and short-term rentals. It hurt big time.
Oh, yeah.
It is the first time in the history of our 20 years of this company that we've seen one specific area get hurt significantly by an HOA change in home values.
Oh, and it hurt big time.
Our seller was dealing with cancer, breast cancer, running a family up there, running 2 businesses in Linden, Utah. They looked at this home and said, we really love coming down. They visited the home 3 or 4 times while we were selling it. Mm-hmm. They said it doesn't make sense for us to spend $5,000 or $6,000 per month, depending on the utilities and the time of year, to keep a home that we can no longer short-term rent.
Yep.
And so they took what we call a haircut or a bath, and they sold the home. Interestingly, as we talk about prices per square foot, and Caleb, keep us on track for time today because we weren't watching very well, sold for $245 a square foot. Very different motivation.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip through some of these. $649,000 on Libra Street in Washington, $340 a square foot. Why? Small home, brand new build, single level.
Yep.
$460,000 for a home on 2398 East 40 North Street, Cotton Acres. Cotton Acres is like pretty close to Costco. 2450 East, that kind of stuff. 1,800 square foot home. You know anything about that one?
I don't.
Okay. 1,800 square foot home.
255 a square foot.
Yep.
And okay, so what, you're looking at that one. Why? Well, number one, it's a 2-story, right? So you're going to get a little bit less per square foot when you have a 2-story or a basement.
Correct.
For the upstairs and the basement. Mm-hmm. And then it was also built in the 90s. So it's old, or 80s, I'm sorry.
It's an older home. Brighter Way. This is very interesting. I sold 2 homes in a 30-day period for the same investor. Barb and Boyd and Barb. Mm-hmm. These folks live out in Kanab. Great people. And they own these 2 rental properties. They picked them up, guys. No emotion involved when they bought these. It was part of a trade deal for a commercial deal. Well, they found a building in Page, Arizona they wanted to purchase. And they said, we need the money from those 2 homes to make this purchase the building in Page. And this is an interesting dichotomy because they actually bought the homes at the exact wrong time. Mm-hmm. They bought high and sold low, so to speak, in the market. These might have been some of the happiest clients I've ever worked with because they spent 6 months on the market with another realtor, a good person who was really busy doing property management and couldn't be present.
Yeah.
And eventually the gal said, look, I think you should bring somebody else in, which was very honorable, right? I came in, we shifted, we rephotographed, we changed some things. We did a little bit of creativity about a lot line situation that they had on one of them. Here's why they were willing to sell the homes for less than they paid. Because the return on investment of the property they're buying is better.
It made sense. I actually did that this last year. I sold a house that I lost money on to move the money to a better investment.
Guys.
To a better area.
It makes sense.
I did it, not even a year ago.
Yep.
So I want to point something out, though, also. When you're buying a home, things like the road you back, power lines.
Brighter Way had a very busy situation.
They will affect you on the other side. You have to know that. Mm-hmm. And they're going to, if it's a busy road or a power line right above you, they're going to affect you a lot more than you think.
Well, and here's one of the things that happens, Jesse, that I've seen. Sellers, they buy a home. Mm-hmm. One of the things that none of us want to consider is that we made a mistake or that we somehow were not smart. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think it's not smart to purchase a home near a busy road or a power line.
It's not, but you just need to know when you sell it, it will affect you.
Correct. And what happens is I'll notice that sellers will, it's like you walk into a room, you know, the elephant in the room. So let's say we walk into this studio this morning. You know the elephant in the room. Let's actually literally describe this. You and I walk in the studio this morning, and over there in the corner is like a baby elephant. And I'm like, hey, good morning, Caleb. Good morning, Jesse. You're like, hey, you ready to do the show? I'm like, yeah. And I look at the elephant, and I look at you guys, and you're busy on your laptop. I'm like, Caleb, how's the family? So he's like, oh, things are really good. Okay, 5 minutes until the show. I'm looking at the elephant. I'm looking at you. What am I thinking? Is anyone going to say, and I'm looking at you guys, and you're busy shuffling your paper, and you're responding some text messages. The elephant in the room is the analogy that what that means, guys, is everybody knows something's happening, but they're pretending it's not. Sellers will purchase a home with a gigantic high-tension power line in the backyard, I-15 200 yards away, and a frontage road 50 feet away. And they'll go, oh, I hardly even notice the sound.
I didn't bother me.
Listen, guys, this home I sold on Brighter Way, let me give you some information. We showed the home 25 times. Guess what 90% of the showing feedback was? Hate the freeway.
Freeway, yeah.
Not, guys,
and if it
25 showings.
And if it wasn't the freeway, it was the power lines.
So we don't mean to hurt your feelings as a seller. And here's what happens. Sellers are afraid. Now, these guys are great because it was an investment. They're like, oh, this doesn't hurt our feelings. This isn't personal. But sellers are afraid that they made a mistake and they don't want to look stupid. You just have to address the elephant in the room.
It's not even stupid. It's just addressing it and going, hey, this is real.
Yeah.
This is real, and buyers are going to notice it a lot more than I did.
Let's 100%. Let's talk about another vacation rental as we wrap up, and then a divorce situation really quick. Paseos, sold a home in Paseos. Paseos is a beautiful short-term rental, VRBO, nightly rental Airbnb community off of Washington Parkway. These guys bought this home, and I think like such Craig and Chantel, they live in Spanish Fork, Utah. Well, they were moving to Woodland Hills. Mm-hmm. They built the home, and then decided they wanted to build, I think they built like an outbuilding, and they said, well, we probably need the cash from the vacation rental in St. George, which A, was cash flowing, and B, my family was really enjoying a lot.
Yeah.
And this was a little bit of a heartbreaker for them to sell that home. They're like, this thing has been so good to us, so good. It's a great example. They bought a vacation rental that they were bringing 50, 60 grand a year on, paying their mortgage, and then their family would come enjoy it in between. It's why a lot of people do it.
Right.
Now, they weren't getting rich. They came in, we worked with them. I'm going to tell you something, and I don't mean to toot our own horn. Not one single property had sold in 6 months in this subdivision.
Yeah, that's been a tough subdivision.
Well, and here's why, Jesse. Vacation rental owners are having to find the value of their home because vacation rental bookings are way down in our final 2 minutes nationwide. Yeah. The last home we sold, that was $817. You sold this one, Jesse. I walked the home with you, $969,000 on an acre in Old Little Valley Farms.
Yep. Really cool house.
Cool house and tough situation. Cool house. In one word, what was the situation?
Yeah, they were just going their separate ways. One headed to Wyoming, and the other one is still here. But it ended up being really good for both of them. Like it was. We had a good plan going into it, and we got a good price for that home.
You got almost $1 million. But here's what's interesting: there was a concession made, a big concession on this home. What are most financed buyers, people getting loans, asking for?
They're asking for some seller closing costs to buy down the rate, to pay their closing costs. And this is a totally made up number. I'm going to say 60% of the offers we see that are financed are asking for closing costs of some sort.
And as a seller, I want you to know something. A $10,000 concession to a buyer for their loan fees in our final 1 minute will go much further for the buyer than you reducing the price by $25,000.
Yeah.
20 or 25. You said it, right?
It does, yeah.
Guys,
it's the same loan for them.
This is the tale of the St. George real estate market. What are homes selling for per square foot? Well, last month we had people anywhere from $204 to $365. Yep. We had two homes that were the exact same square footage. One sold for $269 a square, one sold for $365 a square.
Yep.
But here's what we know. Buyers are in the market. Buyer demand is actually up this fall if you're a seller and you've been sitting around on the fence. Look, we can't tell you whether you should sell. You have to make sense of that. But if you want to talk about it, and if you want to learn what we've learned in 20 years, we want you to attend October 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. Jesse's putting on the Ultimate Home Selling Seminar.
Yep, over at the Chamber of Commerce in St. George.
We're going to pull the curtain back and talk about everything we've learned from 2,000 transactions. Visit gostgeorge.com or Google the Larkin Group and let us know that you want to come and sit in there. There's no cost.
No cost.
There's no obligation.
No pressure, no obligation.
There's nothing to sign
there
at the
won't
end.
There won't even be an ask.
Yeah.
We really just want to help people know how to plan to sell their house and get the most money.
Yeah, there's nothing to sign up for other than a seat in the room. All right, over and out.